This is Psychology MD, and you're watching Deep Connection Blueprint.
Hello and welcome to the video. In this video, you're about to learn how to never run out of things to say. You're going to learn 3 secrets on how to captivate and engage anyone when you're talking to them. This video will not only explain the concept, but also guide you on applying it in your daily conversations. You're about to discover the powerful tool of influence maps to unlock deep and engaging conversations with your partner. For this exercise, you will need a pen and a paper and a few minutes of your focused time. So whenever you're ready, let's get started. So let's start with tip number 1. The secret to being interesting is to show genuine interest in the other person. To be interesting, be interested in the other person. This is very counterintuitive. Everyone is trying to portray a certain image, a certain picture. Everyone is trying to impress people in their own way, and everyone is trying to get attention through their own method. Now remember this, attention is life energy. When we are babies, we learn that without attention, we will die. And that's a basic fact of life. In fact, the worst punishment in prison is solitary confinement. Because people are deprived of attention. And attention is a form of currency, it's a form of energy. People crave for genuine attention in today's modern world. And when you show a genuine interest in the other person's worldviews and listen to what they are saying, as if it's the most interesting perspective you heard on this matter, you will see that they will completely open up. Now, if you want to learn more about this concept and go really into the details, I highly recommend that you get the audiobook How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. There's a very nice audio version read by Andrew McMillan. It's also available on Audible, and I think there is a version on YouTube as well. So that's secret number 1. To be interesting, take a genuine interest in the other person. Secret number 2, understand the influence map of the other person. Take a few minutes to think about the other person's world. To build strong connections with people that go beyond the surface level, you need to be willing to invest your time learning what the other person's world looks like.
Technical, but these are called core memories. Each one came from a super important time in Riley's life, like when she first scored a goal. That was so amazing.
Hey, would you look at that? Very nice.
And each core memory powers a different aspect of Riley's personality, like Hockey Island.
Many people will never go into that detail. And this is what is going to differentiate you. To help you with this, I'd like to introduce you to something known as the influence map. Every person has an influence map that tells you about the psychological layout of the person. It tells you about their interests, it tells you about their inner dialogues they are having in their mind. And by learning about your partner's influence map, you will open up a whole new area of their psychology. To do this, take a blank piece of paper and try to answer the following questions. What do they most commonly talk about? What do they like and what do they dislike? How do they like to spend their time, especially their free time? Number 4, what are they passionate about? Number 5, what would they be interested to hear about? Number 6, what do they like to read? What do they like to consume in social media and so on? Number 7, who are they influenced by or inspired by as an author or who's a speaker that really inspires them? Number 8, look at what are some of the trending topics that they are usually interested in. For example, some people are usually interested in political topics that are trending. Some people are interested in music topics that are trending. So, what are some of the things that they are interested in when they are trending? Now, you want to keep going until you get the feeling that you completely understand the other person. Once you have this, you want to set up a system through which these themes of interest of the other person show up automatically in your daily life through, for example, an Instagram feed, or through the newsletters you subscribe, or through YouTube channels that you subscribe. You want it to show up on your listening list on the podcasts. You want to probably listen to audiobooks on the topic, or if you have a news app, you may want to set it as a topic of interest. So you will never run out of things to say. Now, a very good way to search for and to set up these feeds are to simply Google for the terms trending words on so-and-so topic, or top websites on so-and-so topic, or YouTube channels on so-and-so topic, or podcasts on so-and-so topic. If you are meeting the person for the first time, you may say interesting facts about X and Y and Z. You may also search for little known facts or interesting facts about a certain place, activity, or point of interest. All these will make you a more interesting person because these are directly connected to the values and interests of the other person. Now, usually, whenever you set up these kind of feeds and reminders, make sure it's a passive one, so that you can consume this kind of information while you're doing something else, so that you don't have to exert energy. Because when it's somebody else's interest, humans tend to generally not spend too much energy. And when you make it passive, easy to consume, it goes a long way. Now, remember, being interesting is an ongoing process. You need to cultivate a habit of listening for interests. Most people during conversations are too keen to share and articulate their own ideas. Whenever you're listening, during that moment, practice breathing. Feel your breath in your body. Take gentle, deep breaths. Feel your feet on the ground. Be mindful as you listen to them. And as they are talking, make a mental note of the topics that they are talking about. When you start doing these things, you will notice that people will be able to talk to you for hours and they will find you extremely interesting. It just happens very organically. Now, people's interests and values usually don't change for 2 to 5 years. However, they do change. So you want to just keep on listening from time to time and adjust your feeds and what you're listening accordingly. Another useful tip is to have these topics in a very handy place. So that, let's say, for example, you're talking for a long time and you run out of things to talk about, you know exactly where to flip and look so that you bring up the topic and you can talk about it immediately. Now, this level of uniqueness is very hard to copy by another person. And this will set you in a completely different league. Secret number 3, develop the ability to tell positive stories. We have a deep, wired evolutionary psychology built into our system whereby we as a species evolved through tribal sharing of stories. We never had written word, we never had written education and forms of communication until 5 or 6 centuries ago. Until then, it was through storytelling and symbolism that concepts were conveyed from generation to generation. So, learning to tell very good stories in vivid detail is going to make you a very interesting person. Now, as a rule of thumb, learn to tell positive stories. Think of the emotions that come up during the story as a gift to the listener. As much as possible, avoid negative stories. Negative emotions and negative news are free. For example, look at the news. It's filled with negative information. It's free. But to generate positive information and positive stories is very hard. And it takes skill. It takes time to develop that particular part of your brain. Now, if you're really interested in this topic, I highly recommend that you get our course, Conversational Hypnosis for Relationships, where we go into great detail into storytelling. So here's a simple way to improve your storytelling habits. Take a moment to look into your past. What would you call as interesting experiences? What would you call as funny experiences or memorable experiences or positive experiences? Think about how you can tell these stories really, really well. That brings us to the end of the video. When you begin to do these 3 things that we talked about in the video, your ability to hold a conversation is going to skyrocket and people will find you really, really interesting. Thank you for watching. This is Stephen Antony from Psychology MD. Bye-bye.